everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today I was feeling kind of existential, I guess. And this can mean two things for some people. One, you're either very depressed if you start questioning the meaning of life and all that other kind of stuff, or it kind of, you know, puts you in your place and gives you kind of like a perspective of how like nothing matters. But anyway, today we are going to be doing some quizzes about existentialism. We're gonna see if I'm an existentialist. Am I gonna be depressed by the end of this? Who knows? We'll see. And definitely feel free to play along at home. I'll link all the quizzes that I do in the description below. And yeah, let's get this underway. Created by Mario. Well, I hope Mario has some insight into life. Most people think existentialism is the dark side of philosophy. Existentialists are dismissed and depressed, dark and cynical thinkers that have no coherent set of values or philosophical thought. Au contraire, my friends, existentialism is as complex as any philosophy. Actually, we all have a little existentialist inside of us. Which one are? That's some good English right there. Are you a free thinker? Are you a free thinker? Is anybody really a free thinker? Or are we just all influenced by all the information that's coming at us from society, from people we know, from everything? Is there even such a thing as a free thinker? Anyway, do you know the meaning of life? Are you just a meaningless speck floating in an empty universe that doesn't care about you? Well, take the first ever existentialist quiz to find out. I highly doubt that this is the first one, but whatever you say, Mario. I'm trusting Mario. You see a dog being badly beaten by her owner as you are taking a stroll around the city. You keep walking, you can't make a difference, politely ask the owner to stop, pray for the dog's well-being, demand for the owner to stop beating the dog. I mean, if it was like, if it's a mom kind of like yelling at her child, like if that was the scenario, if it was like a mom yelling at her child for something, not beating them, but like yelling at their child for something, I would like kind of like, you know, pass that off as them like parenting and whatever. But there is never ever a good reason to beat your pet. They're an animal. They're not a human. They don't have human thoughts. They're not as intelligent as humans. They don't know. Like, you know, there's never a good reason to beat any animal, your pet or otherwise, so I would demand for the owner to stop beating the dog. You and your friend get a flat tire in front of a tire store at 2 a.m. He doesn't have a spare tire. There are plenty of tires for you to choose from at the store. You don't think twice and take the right size. Pray for God to tell you what to do. Tell your friend, oh well, that's life. Take the tire and leave some money under the door. I'd consider if there were security cameras first, but I would take a tire, definitely. I would take a tire, but I don't know if I would just take the tire or like take a tire and leave some money under the door. Like, I feel like if you leave money under the door, you don't know how much the tire costs. So like, if you leave money under the door, somebody's going to be suspicious of why there's money under the door. You know what I mean? I would just take the tire. I would just take the tire. You ask your friend to lend you $10 for a lunch because you forgot your lunch at home. You go to Subway and pull out the bill and only to realize that is a $100 bill. You buy your food and keep the change. It's not your fault. He is a dumbass. You buy your food and give him back the change when you return. You run back and let him know about his mistake. Buy your food and put the rest in the tip jar. What is money anyways? I would, without hesitation, buy my food and give him the change back in return. Like, money is one of those things that, like, it's just one of those things where I'm like, it's such a huge deal, you know? Like, money is literally everything in our society. At least to some people it is, to like definitely higher up, like business people, like politicians. Like, money is everything. Money's power. Money's like makes the world go round. You know what I mean? So like, money is one of those things where like I feel like a guilt if I don't. Like, I don't like people paying for my stuff. Like, I try to convince people not to pay for my stuff, or at least ask them, like, not to, even if I, like, you know, are in a situation where I forget my wallet or something like that. I'm like, if my friend offers, I'll give them, like, a bit of resistance, but, like, if they're gonna pay for my food anyway, I can't stop them. But If it's something like this, then I would definitely give them back their money, because that's just like, you know, it's just a mistake. Either that or you have a real nice friend. Here, buy $100 lunch. There you go. They're gonna come right out and ask me what the meaning of life is, aren't they? What is the meaning of life? Whatever you make it to be. There is no meaning. You find your own pathway towards God. There is only meaning in the choices you make. Well, I agree with everything besides the third one. It is whatever you make it to be. You could choose your own meaning of life. There's also probably, I don't know if there's a meaning of life. Who's to say? And there's only meaning in the choices you make. What I think is that there's only meaning in the choices you make. Like that's giving some that. The choices you make don't even matter, because, you know, we're all gonna die in the end. So even the choices you make don't really matter. The choices you make either, you know, prolong when you're going to die, or they like take back when you're going to die. Not every choice is like that, but like, you know, some choices are like that. That's giving meaning to something when like nothing has meaning, you know what I mean? So I think I'll put whatever you make it to be, because if you want to give something meaning, give it meaning. That's how you're gonna live your life. Like, that's how you're gonna live your life, man. Someone is pointing a gun at your head. What are you thinking about? God, will he decide the correct ending for me? God, he will decide the correct ending for me, and I will accept it. Oh well, your life flashes before your eyes, and all you see are the choices you have made. How can I break this fucker's arm without getting shot? See, this is an interesting question, because it's hard to answer these types of questions, these hypothetical scenarios, seriously when they've never happened to you. Because I could say something now, but when it comes down to it, like, I don't know how I'm gonna react. You know what I mean? Like, I definitely don't think I would do the two of them, the first two. I don't know if my life would flash before my eyes and whatever. Usually if something not like this happens, but if some sudden thing happens, I have found that I usually, when I'm in a fight or flight scenario, I am usually more fight than flight. So I've never been in a situation where I've needed to defend myself physically, but I feel like if this were to happen, then I would try. But then again, I could say that and it could not be true if this actually happened to me. But for the sake of this, for how I think that I act and like how I am, I'm just gonna put, how can I break this fucker's arm without getting shot? What is love? God, I don't know what love is. Baby, just don't hurt me. It's also, this is an interesting question to ask, because love is such a human thing. You know, like some animals that experience like love, it's usually just a tactic to stay alive for longer. Like some animals, it makes more sense for their survival to mate for life. But there have been cases where animals, like when their significant other is like dies, that they go into like a period of mourning. So love is like, you know, it's kind of different for animals and humans, but it really is more of a human thing. Like it is better for human survival for a pair to like mate for life, because then it makes it easier to raise children. It's an interesting question. Having a close relationship with God. There is no such thing as love. Love is a choice you make. Love is the act of trying to take someone's free will. Mario, who wronged you like this to the point where you think that's what love is? Love is a choice you make. Love really is a choice you make. Even if it doesn't seem like it at the time, if you feel like completely head over heels for somebody, or you don't like somebody at all, but they are in love with you, like it's really a choice you make, because there's plenty of cases where two people like start dating, for example, and either one of them really likes the other one, but the other one doesn't reciprocate that, or neither of them really like each other. that much, but as the relationship continues, they like fall in love with each other. And it's that decision to stay with that person that, you know, like you're able to fall in love with them. So I kind of agree with this. It's more than just a choice, but it's also out of this list is a choice. Of these 4 books, which is your favorite? The Stranger, The Underground Man, the Bible, Zathura Speaks. I don't know what The Underground Man is, and I don't know what Zathura Speaks though, but I have read The Stranger. I read it in French though. It's called L'étranger, and I did not pronounce that correct. It was a really interesting book. If you don't know what The Stranger is, it is about this guy named Mersal, and he lives in Algeria. His mom dies, and he doesn't really feel anything about it. Like, it's just kind of something that happened. I forget if it was an accident or if he intentionally did this, but he's sitting on the beach one day after his mom dies, and he kills this guy. He goes through all this stuff. There's like, he meets this girl, and like he meets this girl, and she kind of gives him insight into like existentialism and whatever. He also has this neighbor that I think is either a criminal or something like that, and he gives him his insight into existentialism, all while Mersal is somewhat on the run and then facing court trials for like this murder, and also while dealing with the death of his mother. I'm not religious, so I haven't read the Bible, so I gotta put that one, because I actually did enjoy that book. I also made an art piece for The Stranger. What is morality? Everybody chooses their own morality. Whatever you think is right and wrong, as long as you are consistent. There is no such thing as morality. Whatever God deems as being moral, regardless of what you think, depends on the situation. I strongly agree with the first one. Whatever you think is right and wrong, as long as you are consistent. That is true. If your morals dictate what is like right and wrong for you personally, and you're consistent about that, then you have like a strong, like you would keep attached to your morals. But you can still have morals and break them depending on the situation. Like morality comes into like, you know, like conversations about war, conversations about controversial things like abortion and like gay marriage and stuff like that. You can still be, I feel that you can still like stick to your, like still be a morally sound person if you break your morals depending on a situation. You know, that just goes, there's always going to be outliers in life, and like you can't always be consistent with things if there's always going to be outliers in life. So it depends on the situation, man, you know, like it depends. Which character do you most closely identify with in the Ocean's 11 franchise? It is relevant, trust me. I haven't watched any of the Ocean's 11 movies. I'm so sorry. Give me a hot sec while I actually figure out who these characters are. Alright, after a very, very, very minuscule amount of deliberation, I'm just gonna choose George Clooney, because it says it matters, but I don't know the characters well enough. How do you feel about your parents? They made me, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I love them unconditionally. They serve their purpose in my life goal. They're just kind of there. This is getting very personal. It doesn't really say how I feel about my parents in this list. I feel like the first answer and the last answer are kind of the same thing, but I'm gonna put they're just kind of there. Like that's not really exactly how I feel about them, but it's hard to describe in depth when you just have a short multiple choice question about it. But we're gonna submit answers. Let's see what we are. The Existential Quiz. You are Nietzsche's Uberman. Okay. Literally translated as overman. You create your own path to happiness. Morality in the traditional sense means nothing to you. You create your own right and wrong. God does not even exist in your world, and neither does meaning. You create your own meaning and do not need God to tell you who you should be. You don't follow a path. You create your own path, and moreover, you don't even need a path. You are above You are above all mankind because you don't need meaning. You make meaning. Okay, please. I would go so far as saying I'm above all mankind. That's a little bit too narcissistic. But this is like a very shocking like difference between these 4 different categories. But okay, that's what I am. Thanks, Mario, for doing this quiz for me.
Hey guys, so there was more to this video, but I figure it was long enough already, and maybe you guys don't want all this existentialism in the same day, so the rest of this video I'm going to be putting in a part 2 where I do another quiz. So thank you for watching, everybody, and be sure to subscribe if you want to see more of my face, and I will see you guys again next Friday.